Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is the star of the new Lifetime dance show, Bring It. The show gives you a glimpse into the competitive dance style like you've never seen it before. And my guest teaches her dancers to bring it, as we call it, down south style. And she's here today to talk about the new show, Bring It. I want you to help me welcome Coach Dianna, better known as Coach D, to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Lady Charmaine?
I am doing good. I watched the show on last week, and you really teach those girls to bring it. I'm not even talking about 100%. You're talking about 110%. So how does it feel to now have a show that's on the air that's showcasing, you know, your heart and your spirit for dance and how you teach other young women?
I think it's amazing that Lifetime found our lives so interesting and what it is that we're doing here in Jackson, Mississippi, what they want to see. And I think that these girls are taking it all in just one day at a time. We're excited to represent Jackson, Mississippi, and we're just excited to showcase this new dance style to the world.
Now, how did the network even find you?
Well, they found my girls on YouTube. We've been around since 2001, going on 13 years now, and I think our YouTube clips are what sparked this whole movement and got the ball rolling.
Really? See, my sister-in-law, she lives in Jackson, Mississippi, and it was so funny. Before I knew you guys were in Jackson, when I saw the ladies wearing their red hair, because my niece, she would wear that color hair, and she lives in Jackson. Mm-hmm. And I said, gosh, I said, they remind me of my niece, right? And lo and behold, when they said Jackson, Mississippi, I said, no wonder, because that's exactly where she lives, because it was a similar style. And I was reading your bio, and you also went to Cal State Dominguez Hills here in California. Mm-hmm. And you were a cheerleader there, right?
I was. I attended Cal State University, Dominguez Hills for 2 years. I took several dance classes from ballet to jazz to hip-hop, and I was also on the cheerleading squad for 2 years.
Now, how did you make it back to Mississippi? Now, are you from Mississippi or are you from California? How did you make it to Mississippi?
Well, I am originally from Mississippi, born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. My mom is from Chicago, but we had family in Los Angeles. When I graduated from high school in 95, my mom just uprooted the family, and we moved to be with the rest of our immediate family in California. And in 2001, my mom moved back, and I didn't want to be in California by myself, so I just moved back with my mom, and I've been here ever since.
So what made you want to start a dance troupe or to do what you're doing right now? What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, when I started Dancing Dolls, it kind of seemed like at the time a need for something for our young girls to do. And when I was growing up, dance was always something, an outlet for me. It kept me out of trouble. It kept me involved in the community, and it kept me doing something that was fun and that was entertaining. I saw a need for it within Jackson. There was only one or two dance teams around when I started Dancing Dolls, and there were so many kids that wanted to dance. So I started my own team, and we've been going strong ever since.
And so you just decided to put some videos up on YouTube. And so when they contacted you, what was it like when they contacted you to say, hey, would you be willing to do a TV show? What was your response? What were you thinking?
Honestly, I kept saying, is this a joke? Are you kidding me? The whole situation to me was so surreal because I do this just for the passion of dance and because I love dance, not to be nationally recognized. I just love what it is that I do. I love giving back to the community. And the opportunity to showcase our dance style to the world doesn't present an opportunity for me, but it presents an opportunity for these kids to have yet another outlet for someone to be proud of them. I think that in this day and age, our kids need that opportunity for someone to say, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, congratulations. Hey, great job. These kids need that extra pat on the back. And Lifetime doesn't realize that what they have done is given these kids a humongous pat on the back. And now when the world sees them, the kids are going to get that even more and more day by day.
Now, what do you consider your dance style? What do you call it?
Well, our style of dance is a mixture of hip-hop, cheerleading, jazz, and majorette all in itself. We're not a one-style type of community. You know, our dance style is not the norm. It's kind of in your face. It's exciting. It's fun. It's unique, and it's so different.
Now, I noticed on the show that you have, a couple issues with a couple parents. How do you handle some of that? Because I know some of the parents, they want to be inside the studio, but they have to be outside. Do you not have the parents in the studio because you don't want them disrupting what's going on in the studio and the girls being distracted?
Well, the main reason is because some of the parents can be a little noisy. Mm-hmm. And I like for the girls' focus to be on the coach and what's being taught. The parents can be a huge distraction, more than they can possibly imagine. A lot of times when kids, and I think any child, they want to please their parents. So they're always looking back to see what mom thinks, does mom approve, and that becomes a distraction because at that time, I'm coaching you. So you should be concerned about if I approve and if I'm telling you that it's right, because the parents, they don't know. Parents can be passionate about their kids. Who isn't? Anyone that has a child, they love their kids. I have a 4-year-old. I love my child to the moon and back. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for him. So I understand, parents getting upset and not always agreeing with the coach. That's going to happen. It happens in basketball, it happens in football, it happens in every sport. And dance is a sport just like anything else.
Okay, well, no, that's really good. You have a good point, because I used to have a dance team too, so I totally understand. So, I used to coach a dance team. So I totally understand what you're saying, because, the parents can definitely be a distraction. And sometimes if I have to talk to the kids a certain way, me and the parent, we can have a certain conversation. But you remind me a lot of myself, because basically you got to bring it. If not, then you can go and sit down. You can go and go home, because we're there for a particular purpose. And I want 100% of you, not 95% of you, not all the problems that you had before you got here. I need you to focus on this particular dance. So I definitely understand where you are coming from. So dealing with some of the parents, because your rehearsals are 4 hours. I thought I heard one of the ladies say your rehearsals are like 4 hours long.
The rehearsals for the girls are 2 to 3 days out of a week. Sometimes they're 3 to 3.5 hours long. It depends on if we have a competition, and that is approaching. Mm-hmm. We have our rehearsals towards the end of the week, because most of my girls, they test on Mondays, and they have a boatload of homework on Mondays and Tuesdays. Most of our practices are Wednesday afternoons, Thursdays, and Fridays. The bulk of them are on Thursdays and Fridays, though. A lot of my kids, they attend Bible study. They're on the praise dance ministry. They're in the National Honor Society. They're student council members. They're honor roll students, and they're APAC students, which is a performing arts school. So they have a lot of other things that they do. And for me, academics is the main priority of their existence on my team. If they are not doing what they're supposed to do in school, then you can't dance for me. And who am I to keep them from, being at home and doing their studies, just because we have to get a certain routine down. There's been even times where we've done homework at practice. Somebody may have had that class last semester or in a previous grade, and they have the book, and they say, well, let me help you. I understand how this goes. That's what we do. We're one big family, not only in dance, but in life. We want to see these kids achieve.
Now, what are you expecting the viewers to get from your show?
I'm hoping that everyone can take an in-depth look into our dance style and receive it for exactly what it is. We are hip-hop, we are majorette, we are cheer, we are jazz, we are lyrical, and we're even ballet. I also would love for our viewers to look into the lives of these kids and see that these kids are proud of who they are. They're proud of their Southern culture. They're proud of what they're doing, and that these kids are also not only dancers, but they're people. They have family struggles. They have things that they go through in life, things that they struggle with on a day-to-day basis that are just like any other child. I had girls to come to me that have been deal with bullying. They have financial hardship. They have so many things that happen, but they're able to pick themselves up, and they're going to keep going. I'm one of those coaches that are kind of in the business, so to speak. I'm like the FBI. The kids say, Miss D always seems to know what's going on. Yeah, because I try to keep up with their social media, what they're doing in school, because I want them to succeed and be successful people. I didn't have the best life as a teenager growing up. I made a lot of bad decisions, and I don't want to see my kids go down that road and do the wrong things. These kids don't understand, Lady Charmaine, that we have been kids before. We've been teenagers. So all the games that they're trying to play, we've done that already.
Yes.
We've done it already, so you can't pull it over on us. We've done it already, So, but I think that, the world, once they get an in-depth look as to who the dancing dolls are, this Southern culture, they're going to embrace us. Mississippi is a hospitality state, and we're all about love and about encouragement and about determination, and we're also about education. A lot of people don't know that. Just because we're from the South, it doesn't mean that we're not prosperous and we don't have great things going on here.
That's a really good way to put it. Because a lot of times kids don't realize that you've been through the same thing. And like when I had my dance team, and even when my husband and I, we had even pastored a church. And when you're dealing with youth, you are really the go-between between the parents, because what the kids can't tell their parents, they're going to tell you. And
That's right.
And the parents don't realize sometimes you're more in their business with their child than they are. You know what I mean? When pregnancy scares and all kind of stuff, that you have to deal with dealing with somebody else's child. And especially when parents think their children are angels, and I have to sit there and hear their angelic story about their child, but I know what your child is really doing. And I just have to, so I totally understand where you're coming from, and to be able to give a child, an outlet, especially keep them out of trouble too, because you know where they are at least 3 to 4 hours a day, because they're with you, so they're not getting in any trouble. So I commend you on even taking on the task, because you're helping to raise some of these children, which some parents don't even realize that you're doing.
Yeah, and I appreciate that so much. It's difficult sometimes playing counselor and mentor and second mom. It could be difficult, but, I love my job, and I love these kids. I have a personal attachment to each and every one of them, and all in a different way. And people don't understand that when you're in a community and you're working with kids, sometimes you lose some of yourself in it because you're trying to give so much of yourself to someone else. People that are working in community service and they're doing volunteer work, they have my utmost respect, because it's not easy. It's not easy. But if everyone would take the opportunity to step out and have some type of community involvement, whether it's with kids, whether it's with adults, do something positive in the community. It'll make you feel really, really good about yourself, and these kids will learn something from it.
And the people understood, especially when you have your own family. I have a husband and I have my own children, and you're mentoring somebody else's children. So there's a lot. So I want to commend you on that. And I want to remind the audience to make sure that you tune in Wednesdays on Lifetime at 10/9 Central to catch the new show, Bring It. If you want more information about the show, just log on to mylifetime.com and get more information. Miss Dianna, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for what you're giving to your community and what you're giving to those young ladies. And it definitely paid off. Look where God has brought you. So everybody can see what you're doing. So congratulations to you.
And thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate that so much.
You're welcome.